Yo guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel today, and welcome back to the Schalke Rebuild Career Mode, where this is a series where we try to fix broken teams, and we're in the second season and second episode of this one with Schalke. Last season we didn't do too good, so this season we're gonna try to turn it around. We know what kind of our faults were. We showed it by the players, like our captain Caliguri, his rating went down, so we know that's something that we are gonna try to fix. As you guys can see, we got a budget increase. It isn't too much. It's about $1 million. Which that could be used for like a wage or something, and we're running kind of low, so anything is helpful at the moment. But guys, we have received an offer for one of our important players here. Salif Sane, I think it was from Barcelona, or we had many offers from many teams for Salif Sane, and I think this one was from Barcelona. So it's a big team that wants one of our players. So that means we're doing something right with our players, of course. So guys, they're not giving us exactly what we want, so that didn't fall through. They were trying to give us a little bit less than what we think he's worth to us, so that didn't fall through. But we did receive another offer. It is a loan offer for Mendel, our backup left back. We do let him go out there because he's pretty young. We let him grow, and he's not going to be playing anytime soon. By the way, we have Mendy growing in that same position, and they're about the same age, so maybe we could let him go and then sell him on in the future. As you guys know, one of the weaker positions right now is the right back, along with the center midfield. So for this episode, that's what we're gonna be looking for. I was having a hard time choosing between Klosterman from RB Leipzig and Benjamin Henrichs from Monaco. They're both really good, and they have their ratings about the same. Klosterman is a 79 and he's 23 years old, but Benjamin Henrichs is a 78 and he's a year younger. So it ends up being about the same thing. And then another player that I did want to bring in was a backup striker, because I wanted to go ahead and sell Mark Uth, try to bring in a midfielder, trying to get some young players in. So the player that we wanted was Arp. I think he played in Hamburg, but Real Madrid managed to get him before we did. So we found a better player. He was younger. Well, he was about the same age, just a higher rating. So we went ahead for Moise Kean from Juventus. We got him for pretty good money, like considering how young he is and his rating. You guys can see here, it's probably gonna be like a prospect. He's gonna be on the bench because we did let go of Real Embolo, so that's what we went ahead and did. So guys, another player that we went in for was Patrick Roberts. This was put in by one of you guys. One of you guys said that I should go for Patrick Roberts, and that's what we did. It was a good shout as well because, we're missing a backup winger. This guy can go in for Chiesa or even Steven Berwin on the left side. So, it was a pretty good shout. We're trying to see what we could give, but, we just ended up paying the cash for him. He did go pretty well. He was also on the bench like Moise Kean. The thing about these players is that they're not going to be playing too much. So because they're young and they're not playing too much, they're still going to grow, but they're probably not going to grow as quickly as maybe Steven Berwin, who is playing for us. So that's the only thing that I'm scared of, that these guys don't grow too much and we end up selling them. So guys, for the third purchase of this episode, we did decide to go for Mr. Benjamin Henrichs just because he had a higher potential, and that's what we're looking for. We're trying to make this team as best as possible. His potential was an 85 and Clusterman was an 84. So obviously we want to go for the best of the best. That's what we're trying to go for here. And it's pretty good because he's also German, so it's gonna add a little bit of realism to this story, to this career mode. We're having German in there that he could go pretty well with the team. We did manage to get him for pretty good price. It was the same thing with Mendy last year. We just was a pretty good defender. He was a good age, and we got him for pretty good offer, guys. And we're gonna try to have him here for a while, so we're gonna try to keep his contract pretty long for a couple of years. Like I said, we wanted to keep him for a while, so we decided to go for a 4-year contract. Considering that most young players this FIFA don't sign for 5 years when they're like above 21 years old. So it's kind of difficult to go for that. So we went ahead and did 4 years here, and that way his we didn't have to pay him that much. So guys, these are the 3 players that we went ahead and brought in. Moise Keane as a backup center striker, and so is Patrick Roberts as a backup right midfielder. And then we had of course Benjamin Henrik. So guys, we also had another team try to pay buyout clauses here. It's always the Spanish teams trying to pay out the buyout clauses of our young players. And here we have Athletic Club trying to pay out Serdar. So we go ahead and try to do the contract negotiations there because we do not want to lose a young German. It's trying to make it realistic. He's coming up in the team, a good backup center midfielder for us, of course. So we don't want to lose him. We try to sign him again 4 years, no release clause. That's what we're going to try to do every time we get an offer. And here, guys, we got an offer for Weston McKennie. This time it's a loan. So, so we do go ahead and loan him out. And then one thing that I didn't tell you guys is I want to bring in a younger center mid. I didn't necessarily tell you guys who. One of them was Mohamed Dahoud from Dortmund. And then Maximilian Eggestein. He was at Werder Bremen, but he moved on to West Ham, so we're gonna try to go for that, and we're trying to let go of Rudy to get the money for that. And then, like in the first episode, guys, if you remember, I accidentally made Lucas Martinez be one of the important players in the squad, and he really didn't get time as a mistake. So we went ahead and redid his contract to a rotation player because he wasn't very happy, and it kind of raised his salary. But that's our mistake, guys. Well, my mistake, of course. And then again, we trying to fix these contracts and stuff because these players are trying to leave us. Teams are trying to take out our players that pretty young players in Mascarad, 26 years old. He still has a little bit of time to go. So of course we don't want to let this guy go for the amount of money they're trying to give us. So we're trying to grow these guys out and eventually get more money for them and bring in maybe younger or better players in the future. Alright, guys, so we've reached the end of the transfer window. We didn't bring any players after the 3 that we had, except that we kept receiving offers for Salif Sané, this time from Chelsea. We obviously went ahead and rejected that because we didn't have enough time to bring in our player of our own. It would have been considered if they maybe did it with at least 5 hours to spare, but they obviously didn't do that. And then, guys, we had a couple of bad news because our best forward, guys know Iñaki Williams, he was injured for 6 weeks. So we're going to go ahead and start the season with, an injured player. But thank God we didn't let go of Mark Uth yet. So we had somebody pretty okay to replace him. And we also had Moise Keane, who had already grown. In a couple weeks he was here, along with Patrick Roberts, who they both went up 1 rating. So that's pretty good, knowing that they barely got here and they're already growing. We're gonna have to go through this whole 6 weeks of these guys being injured. So we went ahead and simmed 6 weeks instead of simming to January, so that we make sure that we put Iñaki Williams back in when he's okay. And good thing it was, I think it was a fecha FIFA, what they call it, which is international break. So we had a little bit of time to put him in, and then we had to make sure he was okay by the time this ended to be sure he's okay. And then, guys, these guys, our young players from academy, do not want to go on loan at all. him and the other midfield, I think, is Kaiser. Kaiser and Kroos do not want to go on loan at all. So we're kind of having trouble with these guys trying to grow, because I want these guys to play so obviously they can go, but they don't want to go anywhere. So that's where we're having a problem. And then there you guys can see that Moise Keane did get some action there in that match. So we're going to go ahead and make sure our players are good to go, all of them. And we're going to start off this season and we'll finish up this first half of the season and sim to January from here, guys. So guys, we've reached January, but I'm kind of scared to see how we've done, considering we want to get better than last season, and as you guys can tell, we are in 10th place. We ended up in 10th place halfway through the season, which isn't pretty good. It's not exactly what we want from our guys, but that's where we end up, and we have a lot of manager offers here. We're not gonna accept those unless it's from a big team, like one of those big European teams, or the South Americans, or even Mexico or United States. We'll take one of those. But when it comes to these teams where it's just gonna be kind of a waste of time to be doing those, we're not gonna be accepting those. And we have a lot of players injured again, and these players who are running out of contract, we're gonna go ahead and probably go into those contracts, try to see how much longer we could keep a lot of these guys. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and negotiate these contracts with these players here that contracts are ending in a couple months, for the fact that we don't want to lose these players just for free. So we're gonna negotiate these contracts and eventually sell them on in the transfer window, whether it's this one or the next one in the summer. So we're gonna go ahead and try to sell these guys here, try to get some money out of them in the future instead of letting them go for free. And also they could be very useful in case one of our starting players gets injured or something. So we're gonna go ahead, it's kind of like an investment here that we're making with these players. And we're obviously gonna do it with both players, especially for this guy Nubo, because he's pretty young. And we also have our young keeper from I think it was Coleman from the youth academy, who obviously most likely will grow a lot faster than him. He's only 19 and he's a 70 rated, so obviously he's gonna grow a lot faster than him. So what we can do is sell on this guy in the future and keep Coleman in the future. Then guys, we ran into a little bit of a problem, which is a good problem because we have such a stacked team that I forgot Embolo came back in January. So we have a total of about 3 strikers that can potentially start and 4 strikers that are above the rating of 70. So we're trying to see how we can put in our best players here. We kept out a goalkeeper so we could keep our highest rated players on the bench. And then we ran in with another problem that our best center midfielder Nabil Bentaleb came out with an injury. He's gonna be injured for a while. So that's gonna hit us hard, especially for the fact that we're in 10th place halfway through the season. So I decided that if we have the money, let's go for the players that the good players that we wanted, which was Mohamed Dahoud or Agustin. And like I said, guys, since we already have 3 strikers, I went ahead and put Mark Guth on the transfer window. Also get that cash to bring in that good midfielder that we want. So it's kind of like a benefit for both of us and for him, because he's not really playing for us right now. So we're trying to get good cash for him so we could eventually put it in towards other players. Since now we've sold one of our pretty good highly rated players, we've managed to get good money for them. We're going ahead and going for a young German talent. He's not too young, 24 years old, 84 rated, which is still pretty good. A lot of time to grow with good potential. We went in for Mr. Mohamed Dahoud. We went in for 50 million. They countered that with 62. We don't want to pay that much for him, obviously, because his value is only at 42. Even though he might be doing pretty good, we don't want to overpay, considering that he probably won't pay like that for us. So we're gonna try to play it safe, trying to counter into the middle from what they want. We're gonna go ahead and we're trying to always bring it down as least as possible. It's just 1 million. That 1 million can go to his wage. So that's what we want, guys. We accept that one. It's kind of better leaning towards us here, because we want to use as much money as possible to be safe that we're able to pay his wage, because there's been many times where I spend like an extra million, and then I just can't play the player's wage. That is one thing that I found really funny was his hair. Like, his hair doesn't even look like that in the picture, and I've seen him in real life, like on TV, and it looks nothing like him. I was considering maybe because he was playing in such a big team or such a big league that maybe they would have put some effort into how he looked. It's just kind of disrespectful to how they made him look, especially with that horrible haircut that he has. So guys, because we do have we brought in a man with a horrible haircut, and we had our best center midfielder injured, Nabil Bentaleb. We're gonna go ahead and let that who would play that position when we had Serdan. It's obviously a big upgrade from a 78 to an 84, and when Bentaleb comes back, it's gonna be a big upgrade from Mascarral. I think Mascarral's an 80, and then Bentaleb's like at 82, and pretty much getting close to that 83. So we've kind of fixed that midfield. Hopefully, he's the key to bring us up from 10th place, because we don't want to go below 10th place, because that's where we ended up last season. And we want to grow, obviously, and because Bentaleb is injured, we're gonna have to sim part of it to where he's not, and that's what we're doing here. We're gonna fit him into the squad. Look at that team, guys. It's pretty good. Now our lowest rated player is an 80, who's Benjamin Henriks, and he's not too bad either. He has pretty good stats there, and he can hold it for us while we're simming through this, and hopefully we do rise from that 10th place, considering that a lot of these players are doing pretty good, like Mr. Keane here, who went up, and our strong team. And so guys, we made it to the end of the season, and it seems that we've ended in 3rd place. But I think it was like a couple points. No, it was 9 points behind Leipzig, so we did a lot better. And then Leverkusen ended up winning the German Cup for the 2nd year in a row, and they ended up beating Bayern Munich this time. Last season they beat Dortmund. This time they beat Bayern Munich. So Leverkusen is doing pretty good things, even though they're not doing much in the league. And this time I think the key for us was Mohamed Dahoud. He helped us a lot. He strengthened that midfield for us. And then you guys see those two teams fighting for relegation in the Super Cup between Milan and Bayern Munich last season. It was Bayern Munich who took that. And then a big surprise here with Borussia Mönchengladbach, guys, taking the Champions League. I don't know how they managed to do that. They ended up beating Chelsea in the semis, and Spurs went on to beat Leverkusen. Leverkusen, who beat Real Madrid. I guess those young talents that they have really paid off for them, but I'm not sure at all how Borussia Mönchengladbach managed to win that, coming out 2nd in their group, beating their team who was in their own group, who was Tottenham, in the final. And then the big teams, they kind of let everybody down. Teams like PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona, it was their chance. If such as like a pretty easy team was able to win it, how come they weren't? The next season, hopefully we could do that, because we're going to be in the Champions League next season. And then in the Europa League, I didn't see who won the Europa League, and this time it was Lyon going ahead and beating Manchester United. These teams, it was I think that's pretty good for them. Manchester United ended up beating Liverpool in the semis. English teams don't look like they're doing too good right now. Maybe in the future we're gonna have to rebuild an English team, even though right now in the real life, there's 4 English teams in the last rounds of the Champions League. So guys, that's the end of this 2nd season. We did a lot better than the 1st season. We brought in good players. If you want to come back for the 3rd season, we will be having European football. Be sure to come back in a couple days. Thank you guys for watching, and it looks like we will be staying. So if you guys want to come back for that, be tuned.